Okay, so here we are. Hopefully, we are live, and it is the first auction in the 2025 World of Tanks Blitz Christmas auction, lot number one, and it is the Thunderstorm Camouflage. Now, there has been a lot of controversy about this particular auction method, the inclusion of camos, and the bidding up versus bidding down, but I can tell you that there are about 8.5 minutes remaining and there are 33,500 players competing for this camo. The starting bid was 1 million credits. There are 5,000 camos available and we are up to 15.25 million credits for this particular camo. And as we're into the final 10 minutes, the last call, every time a new bid comes in that affects the top order, the clock resets to 10 minutes. So we're now back at 10 minutes. This is the camo in question. I believe this is the AMX that this goes on. What do you think? Is that worth 15 million credits? Set to go higher than that, I suspect. Nearly 34,000 players now trying to get this camo. Let's just keep an eye on it and see how it goes. Still in the 9-minute bracket. I don't know how long it's going to keep resetting to 10 minutes for. We could be here for a while. But still the top bid of 15 million credits for the Thunderstorm Camouflage. Still no more bids. Okay, we're going to get down to less than 8 minutes, or fewer than 8 minutes, I should say. We keep getting down to about 8, and then another bid comes in. I think with 5,000 prizes available, it could be very easy to change the running at the top there. It doesn't actually say what the lowest bid within the 5,000 is, and I don't know if all of the players above 5,000 have to pay the same price. Something we don't quite know yet about this particular auction. We're obviously waiting for the first tank to be released as well. I think that might be sometime this evening. But of course, there's the 20 hours that you then have to wait before the auction starts. And we get into the 2-hour bidding window. And that will be tanks probably for gold, I think, if what we're hearing is correct. And it will be bidding up in the same way that people are bidding with credits here for this camo. There has been plenty of chat in the forums about this new format. What do you think about it? If you're watching this after the live stream, then just leave your comments in the comments section. Camos included, is that good? And what about bidding up instead of the fixed price, falling auction price, I should say, of the old method, where you would know exactly what the top price you might be paying for a particular tank is, versus the unknown quantity that is going to be bidding against other players? Timothy 4981 has joined us. Thank you, sir. This was a bit of an ad hoc, unplanned decision to stream here, but I saw the camo had about 7 minutes remaining, but it's gone back up to 10 because there's been another bid that's upset the top running. And believe it or not, as you've joined us, the top bid, or the competitive bid, to stand a chance of getting this camo, as we see it animate there, is 15.5 million credits. So despite some people's reservations about the auction, accusations of money grabbing being leveraged at wargaming, which, let's face it, is nothing new, those accusations do go round. The player base is at the moment voting with their wallets because they are bidding frantically. And I know it's only credits, but they still have to be earned in some description through time playing the game. Maybe some people have used real cash to buy credits. I know older and experienced players like myself have managed to accrue 267 million credits, nearly there in my particular account. But I am not interested in paying 15.5 million credits for a camo, no matter what that camo looks like. Strong opinion there from Timothy in the chat. Doesn't like the auction. But I can tell you, my friend, there are currently 35,500 players tuned into this auction in the game. Clearly not on the stream. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And those 35,500 players are either bidding or watching as we've gone back up above 9 minutes, as we're approaching 16 million credits. Again, once you're in this last 10 minutes, every time a bid is placed that upsets the top order, and I don't know if the top order means the 5,000 price slots are available, but every time that changes, the last call goes back to 10 minutes. So the final 10 minutes has probably, at the moment, been about 20 in the time I've been watching it. But that's the mechanism that we're in. So although they're saying it's a 2-hour window, really it looks like the strategy for the auction is to make a note of what time your item goes live. Don't do anything for 1 hour and 50 minutes of the 2 hours, and then log in for the final 10 minutes and sit here for as long as it takes to secure the item that you want. Charles C, welcome, sir. Great to have you along. I must tell you, you've just joined us with 8 minutes and 20 seconds of these last 10 minutes remaining, but I have sat here before streaming for about 15 minutes of the last 10 minutes because the bids keep coming in and it keeps resetting to the final 10 minutes with 36,000 participants in the auction for the Thunderstorm camo. Starting bid of 1 million credits. We're now just under 16 million credits. Be interesting to know your thoughts on how high you think this is going to go. Appreciate you don't like the auction, but have you got an idea of how high you think this is going to go? What is the Thunderstorm camo worth to those people as we've just gone from 36,000 participants to 36,200. And once again, the last call has reset itself to above the 9-minute mark. Are we going to hit 16 million credits? I think we will comfortably hit 16 million credits as we stay glued to the auction screen here. Unfortunately, that means there's not much else to look at apart from the tank with the camo on it. Now, what do you actually think about this camo? Not necessarily it being in the auction or how much. There we are, 16 million has been breached. 16 million credits there, and another 200 participants have joined the auction. Yeah, not necessarily. What do you think about the camo being in the auction, or camos being in the auction, or the current state of the auction itself? But what do you think about this particular camo? Personally, I am not a fan of camos that don't look like they belong anywhere on a tank. Very much a traditionalist in that sense. So this one here with this blue neon flashing elements to it, graphically looks very good, of course. Like a blue molten lava effect across the top, and then this floating stones that have just bobbed up and down. Not really my cup of tea as I sit here drinking a cup of tea, really working out how we're going to spend the next, again, above 9 minutes as more bids come in and another couple of hundred people have joined the auction and are participating. In fact, we've been streaming for just over 12 minutes now, so the last call of 10 minutes has easily exceeded that 10-minute mark because we are already over it. And we still have about 8.5 minutes remaining, unless another bid comes in, and we've just gone over 16 million credits, 250,000 pound credit, 50,000 pounds, 250,000 credit raise there from somebody, and we are nearly at 37,000 participants in the auction itself. And I believe this is EU only. I think the different regions have their own timings to suit their time of the day. And we've actually dropped under the 8-minute mark now. We're now into 7 minutes. So are we about to see the end of the auction? Has the bidding ceased? Or are those players who have been outbidded going to wait until a little bit more time has gone before they pounce? Are you one of the 37,000 participants watching this back later on? Let me know in the comments, how did the bidding go? Were you receiving notifications early enough that your bid had been exceeded by another player? They mentioned there was a cooling off period between making one bid and another bid. How long was that? As we are about to hopefully tip under the 7-minute mark. There we go. This is the first time we're seeing this auction format. So once we get below 5 minutes and someone makes a bid, will it reset back to 10 or will it just level off at 5? Who knows? We have got about 1 minute and 45 seconds to find that out. But there is currently no more movement on the 16,250,000 credits. That is a competitive bid. That would suggest that the highest bid is probably above that. And if you are the top bidder in this auction and you watch this back later on, Are you prepared to let us know how much you paid for the camo? Or indeed, is the game going to tell us when the results are revealed? Again, these are things we just don't know because we haven't seen this format before. I'm led to believe it is a format that is used in the World of Tanks PC version of the game, and they have brought that across into World of Tanks Blitz, and we will be seeing, I think, the first tank being auctioned for gold. I think that is tomorrow. And yes, Charles, you're right, it's a lot. 16 million credits is a lot. Particularly as the camo, doesn't matter how much you pay for it, still doesn't enhance the camouflage rating of the tank any more than any other type of camo. So it's not necessarily as if it's going to help you earn credits back. It's just to look good. And of course, people know this camo is available in the auction. So when you see this tank in battle, oh, and we're back above 9 minutes again. Another bid's come in, and we're now at 37,500 participants. But when you see this tank in battle after today, you will know there is a very good chance that the player that has this particular camo has got it in the auction. Don't actually know if this camo already exists in the game. I've personally not seen it, but then I don't use the AMX, so it's not something I've ever seen. I don't know if it's a special release just for this particular auction. Do I know what tank it will be? I believe it will be one of the tanks that they showed in the preview video. I'm not sure, but I know one of them was the BLZ 9000. It might be that one. I would have to check. I personally don't think it's any sort of tank that you desperately want to be waiting around for, but I am not particularly confident in that. If anybody else knows, then let me know. But we'll get a 20-hour preview anyway. I think they announced the lots at 1900 Central European time. So this evening, that lot, or the next lot in the auction, whatever it is going to be announced, and you will be able to see which tank it is, if indeed a tank is going to be next, and be able to decide whether or not you want to bid for it. We're at 16.5 million credits now, and we are just short of 38,000 participants. Now, we don't know how many of those are bidding. Are they all bidding, or is it just people like myself who are watching? Are we classed as participants, or do you have to make a bid? It feels like 38,000 bids is a hell of a lot, but who knows? That is a pretty stiff competition for what is only 5,000 prizes available. And again, we're back at 9.5 minutes of the 10 minutes. This could go on, although there is a bar across the top. That golden bar seems to be moving to the right, so I don't know if that is a limit, a time limit that's going to be applied to the overall auction. Because clearly, if we've got 38,000 participants, and every time one of them submits a bid that puts them into the top 5,000 to claim a prize, that 10 minutes resets itself, then this will effectively be a never-ending auction, or will indeed be going on for an extremely long period of time. So we are literally staring down the barrel here, waiting for this to end. I think we've got down to 6.5 minutes previously, and then of course the bids have come in. The other thing as well, it's 4:30 in the afternoon in the UK. And I believe today may well have been the final day. It's Friday today, isn't it? Yeah, today may well have been the final day of kids being at school before the Christmas holidays. So this increase in participants may well be school kids returning, logging in, realizing this camo is available and bidding frantically in order to try and get it. Because we are up to 38,500 participants. I think that, if my memory serves me correctly, from when I started watching about half an hour ago, that there was probably about 35,000 participants. So an extra 3,500 players have arrived from somewhere and are prepared to pay 17 million credits for the Thunderstorm camo for this AMX tank here. Glistening blue detail here. Yes, I believe the auction format on NA will be the same as it is on the EU. I think it's the same for all servers. I certainly didn't see anything else in any of the media that was released that would suggest anything different. But then remember, I am just the player of the game. I am not involved in any way as a content creator or have any inside track into what Wargaming are up to. If you want that sort of stuff, I'm afraid you'd have to find that out from other people who make YouTube videos, because I unfortunately, or fortunately, maintain my independence there. Am not one of them. We're nearly at 39,000 participants. I do wonder why it is and how it is they decide on the particular camo designs, and then how do they decide which tank it goes onto. I don't know if this one particularly has any relevance to the AMX. Clearly with some of them it's pretty easy. If it's a historical camouflage, then it's very easy. The Cromwell Berlin, for example, is a very easy one to pick on. That's a historically referenced camouflage. The IS-2 Berlin as well. But these cartoon style camos, if you like, no real relevance I can think of to why it is it's gone onto the particular tank here, the AMX. And is it exclusive to the AMX as well? I don't know that either. Does it change the name to AMX Thunderstorm? Or is this one of the epic camos rather than legendary, where you could put this onto another type of tank? I suspect not. I think it's limited only to the AMX. But if you were hoping that this auction was coming to an end after nearly 25 minutes of the final 10 minutes, I'm afraid to tell you that we are back above 9 minutes with another bid, which has upset the top positions. You can see my bid is currently 0. Guess here, look, I could make a bid of 1 million credits. I don't know whether let's give that a try so we can see what happens. I'll confirm. Yeah, I'll have a go. Here we are. Okay, I've made a bid, and I've got to wait a minute before I can make another bid, but I can assure you I will absolutely not be making another bid, because I don't even want this camo in the first place, and I'm just doing that to see what happens. And if that's upset somebody else who does want this camo, then I do apologise, but that was purely in the interest of science and research. And I have noticed that the golden bar at the top has moved back towards the left. So that is a 10-minute indication bar. is ticking down, and it's gone all the way back over to the right hand side because a bid has come in that has no, it's dropped back down to 7 minutes again, so that was interesting. Okay, do I want to increase my bid? Your bid is too low. Increase your bid to improve your chances of winning. So there's the on-screen message just below the participants there and the starting bid. It's interesting that it lets you come into the auction after nearly, oh, I don't know, 25 minutes of the final 10 minutes, and you can submit a bid at the starting price when there's absolutely no chance of that bid winning. I would have thought it would have set the new minimum to something that would have stood you a chance of taking a prize, but it has not. 17.5 million credits is now competitive, and we are approaching over the 25-minute mark of this particular stream, plus another 10 minutes or so when I was just watching it on my own, and we still have 10 minutes to go. We take a look around the garage here, you can see the Christmas tree there. I managed, I think like most people did, to get all of the levels unlocked for it, and I opted for the gingerbread characters there. And of course, if you have the matching characters for each tier of the tree, that can increase your credit earning in battle to 25%. In order to see that, we can go back to the game for a second and we'll drop back into the auction. And here's the Christmas tree here. And as you can see down here on the right hand side, plus 25% bonus, because all of my icons here or ornaments on the Christmas tree are matching. They are from the same family of ornaments. So back to the auction. We've been away for a few seconds there, and of course we haven't missed anything in terms of time lapse because we're back above the 9 minutes. But there are now 40,000 participants, and we are, I believe, one bid short of hitting 18 million credits. The bid increments appear to be 250,000 credits. So if you want to be competitive and put yourself towards the top of the leaderboard, at this moment in time you are going to have to bid 18 million credits. There's the G-Saw tank in the background there. Let's see if we can get a closer look at that. Not really, the AMX is in the way. Did any of you manage to pick that tank up from the music box? And what do you think about the music box compared to the snow globe? Again, snow globes are, I believe, considered to be more popular. Greater chances of winning from a snow globe back in the day. But needless to say, we have music boxes this year. How have you got on? Yeah, I think you're right, Charles. I think it can take all day. I didn't think it was going to take over half an hour. And we're still on 8 minutes. It's an interesting structure or construct that they've come up with, especially this final 10 minutes, the last call. But of course, this is where Wargaming are going to make the most out of the auction. The final 10 minutes, the flurry. People are just going to keep bidding. We're now at 40,500 and 40,711 participants. And another bid has set us above the 9-minute mark. Philip, good evening to you, sir, wherever you may be. There is a bit of milking going on. Thing is, it's only for credits as well, but this is sending a message. Imagine this is a tank. This is for gold. I think that tank is going to get announced this evening, and that will happen tomorrow. I'm not sure it's going to be one of the most sought after tanks, but needless to say, we may well find us in a similar position tomorrow, although I will probably not be streaming that one. This was a bit of a on the hoof decision with about 7 minutes remaining when I went live to just cover off the final 5 or 6 minutes, and now we're half an hour in and we're kind of committed, so we're just going to stick with it. Of course, it does mean that if anybody wants to watch this back and there's a video posted that's in excess of 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe an hour or longer, if you actually want to know what the final bidding price was, you can just skip to the end. But obviously, if you do that, don't forget to hit subscribe on your way past, as we have hit 18 million credits for the Thunderstorm Camouflage, and 41,000 people, I should say, have participated or are participating in this auction. Now, it may well be that there are people, I had a bid just to see what the process was. There may well be some people who have done the same so they can work out how they're going to play it when a tank does become available. But there is an issue with the tanks being gold and bidding up. I'll cover that in more detail, planning to do a video on that. But essentially, under the old system, the price was set, so you knew how much gold a tank was going to cost, and you would know how much it was going to drop by in the next round, and you also knew how many tanks were available. So if the tank was valued at 10,000 gold and you wanted to pay 10,000 gold, you would go to the store, part with your hard-earned real cash to get the 10,000 gold, and you could then buy the tank. And for your 10,000 gold and your hard-earned real cash, you would have the tank that you were after. This new system is a lot more, I don't know what the word is, but a lot more risky, shall we say, because you don't know how much the tank is actually going to sell for. Take this camo, for example, here. I'm not sure anybody who started bidding at 1 million credits thought it was going to go for over 18 million credits. Now, I'm not expecting tanks to go for 18 million gold, but the point is, you don't know how much the tank is going to sell for, and you have to have the gold in your account in order to make a bid. You put your bid in, the gold is temporarily deducted from your account until such time as you either win or lose the auction. So that means you have to have the gold. So if you are a relatively new player or somebody who's not got a lot of gold in their account, you're going to have to go to the store, buy gold with your real hard-earned cash. You're then going to have that gold sat in your bank in the game as a gold currency. You're going to make a bid for a tank. But if you don't win the bid for the tank, then you have the gold that you've paid your hard-earned cash for, but you don't have the tank. You've just got gold that you don't need because you're perhaps only interested in that one particular tank. And either way, Wargaming have got your real cash, and you don't have a tank, but what you have is some gold. that you potentially have nothing to spend it on. So that's the danger I foresee with the risk I foresee with the new system of bidding up, is you have to go to the store with your cash ahead of the auction, take a guess on how much gold you think you're going to need, buy that gold, and then hope that you win the tank. And if you don't, you are stuck with the gold. And even if you took an estimate and suggested to yourself that I think this particular tank is going to be worth, in my mind, 10,000 gold, and that's what you're willing to pay for it, because clearly items in an auction are based on what people are worth or willing to pay for it. You could only buy 10,000 gold worth of currency from the store with your real money, because that's what you think the tank is worth in your mind. But the tank goes for more than that. You're still stuck with the 10,000 gold that you now no longer need, because you can't buy the tank that you really wanted. So we'll see how that goes. And while I've been rambling on about that for the last 5 minutes or so, we are back above 10 minutes. And we are rolling at 18.5 million credits and 42,000 people. I didn't actually know there were that many players on the EU server, but there you go. 42,000 players are participating. And as I said earlier, I think it was about 35,000 players when I started watching this about 45 minutes ago. But it is Friday afternoon across Europe, and it's potentially school kids finishing for the holidays, coming home and logging into the game. Certainly in the UK, it's a little bit too early for people to be finishing work. Although, again, it is Christmas, so maybe some people are getting away slightly earlier. But there is 8.5 minutes still to go in a final 10 minutes that has been lasting for at least 40 minutes. Dropped below 8 minutes again. That's 5,000 thunderstorm camos are up for grabs here. And a new bid has just come in and pushed it back above 9.5 minutes. 18,750,000 credits is the competitive bid now for this particular camo. And the bids just keep coming in, and the clock just keeps resetting itself. Wonder if there is a final cut-off time. This surely can't keep continually resetting over and over again. There are a lot of participants here for them all to decide that they're not prepared to pay another 10. Let's face it, if you've committed 18,750,000 credits to this camo, committing another 250,000 to make it 19 million is pretty much a drop in the credit ocean. It's not going to make that much difference. At what point are players who committed had enough and prepared to accept that they are not going to get this camo? We will see. We've got as far as 6.5 minutes remaining, and that was about 15 minutes ago. Oh, 7.5 minutes, okay. Yeah, and views on camos, like I say, I'm more of a traditionalist, like the authentic camos, historical reference camos, but there's clearly a lot of players out there who do like this one, and they are prepared to pay a lot of credits for it. Are we going to breach? No, we've gone back to 9 minutes there. So I don't know if that did a full reset. I wasn't really paying that much attention. I was just hoping that it was going to be over soon, but there we are, 19 million credits is the current offer. And it will be interesting to see if there is a different mentality when it comes to tanks for gold, because gold is kind of seen more as real money, much harder to come by in the game without buying it from the store for real cash, whereas credits can be earned over a period of time. Now back to 10 minutes again. So credits are not really real money, kind of an in-game currency. You can earn it. I know you can get boosters and you can run particular tanks with high credit coefficients. Normally something at tier 8, premium tank or collector, depending on which particular tank it is. So you can grind the credits. You can't grind gold. As we have 43,500 participants. Of course, the other thing about the auction as well that we've got from the preview video is the inclusion of golden tickets. We don't know what the golden tickets are going to be used for. I'm just trying to find them. Here we are in the store. Here's the golden tickets. Perhaps potentially some kind of bundles or some kind of unique limited edition bundle perhaps is going to be the prize for golden tickets, but you absolutely have to buy these golden tickets from the store, and they are pretty expensive. 50 golden tickets for 35 Great British pounds. Probably a very similar amount of euros, depending on what currency you're in. So again, we wait to find out what items are going to be released that require golden tickets. Unless, of course, I have misunderstood the preview video that they produced. And at least if you purchase the golden tickets here from the store and you fail to gain a prize from the auction for your golden ticket purchase, you can obviously then have a go at the golden ticket draw, with the top prize here being the gold vein container which is the FV4201, the Chieftain Proto, and 200,250 gold available as well. And there are other types of gold prizes in the golden ticket draw, but I think there is going to be something available in the auction that you can use golden tickets for. But again, be interesting to see what the dynamic is with that, because that is definitely real money that you're going to have to spend. That's 44,000 people now sit with us and watch the thunderstorm camouflage being fought over, as we're just above 19 million credits. Do we think we'll get to 20 million credits? Well, we've just gone to 19.5 million, so we are 2 bids away from the 20 million credit mark. So we take a look here at the flaming blue aura that is given off by this particular camo. It's like something out of a Marvel movie. Come on, Wargaming, put us out of our misery here. This final 10 minutes, I think, has been going for nearly an hour in real time, and 47 minutes of that we've been sat here looking at it, trying to see what the final price is going to be for the auction of this Thunderstorm camo for the AMX. Nearly 20 million pixels here for a pixel camo. You see this in battle, you will know that the player that is either on your team or you're up against really wanted it badly and has been prepared to pay handsomely for it, as we are 1 bid away from the 20 million credits. And my old friend the Silent Cougar, welcome sir. Indeed, we had these conversations and a couple of the chats on the videos that we've both made about this. Plenty of vocal disbelief out there about the auction and the way that they've changed it, but I did suspect that that would be overshadowed by the number of people who would then go and start bidding. And again, interesting how many of these are real players and how many are actually interested in the camo. Bot is a controversial angle. Is it being done deliberately? And of course, in any auction, not that I've ever done that many, but I've seen storage wars on the television. There's always people there who just want to make it as difficult as possible for somebody else to get the prize and wants to bid them up just because they think it's funny, so they can gloat in the joy that they have contributed to somebody paying significantly more for something that's pretty much worthless. As I'm pleased to say, we've dropped under 6 minutes, which is absolutely fantastic. Hopefully this will be over soon. But yes, 15 million credits for a camo. It's actually nearly 20 million. And I think we'll get to 20 million. I want to see this drop under 5 minutes, so that if another bid comes in, to see whether the clock resets back to 10 or whether it just levels off at 5. Because quite frankly, this endless 10 minutes is absolutely brutal. There we go, we're under 5 minutes. Because it's interesting again that they've opted for a 2-hour window. I say on the previous auction mechanism, the lot would go live, but it would be live until the lots had been purchased on an individual basis, or until such time as a time limit had expired. So people had time to live their lives, school, work, family commitments, whatever it may be. And you'll be pleased to know we're back above 9 minutes, so we're going to strap in a bit longer. But with this method, the 2-hour window doesn't necessarily fit around how players are living their lives, which means that some people will miss out. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But it also means that the final 10 minutes here is not 10 minutes. There are 45,000 people now participating in this auction. And I think, I'm trying to remember when I first started watching this about an hour ago, I think it was about 35,000 people. So for the last hour, at least there are 35,000 players minimum across the European Union who are doing nothing other than watching this thunderstorm camo. I'm doing slightly more than nothing than watch the camo because I'm also talking about it, and you're also doing slightly more than nothing because you are watching the camo but you're listening to me talk about it. So at least we're being slightly more proactive. Comfortably above 20 million credits now. And this is actually the first time I have done a live stream. Just decided ad hoc last minute, let's throw this out there, see if it works. If you want to let me know, Silent Cougar there in the chat, how's it going? Is it coming across okay? Let me know. Absolutely amazed that I've managed to find something to talk about for the last hour based on the thunderstorm camo and the fact that players keep coming in and bidding again and again and again to take this, what was 5 minutes remaining, back up to another 10 minutes. It just continues. It just continues. Thanks, Charles. Appreciate that. Gives me some inspiration to carry on. And maybe I will get a chance to do another auction stream. Next time I get a chance won't be any time in the next 2 days, I don't think. Because Wargaming, I do have commitments outside of the game, so I won't be able to view those auctions with as much enthusiasm as I have for this one. I actually tuned in hoping to catch the last 2 or 3 minutes just to make a video to reveal how it had gone and how much people had paid for the first camo, the thunderstorm camo for the AMX in the auction. And then I thought it'd be a great idea just to hit live and see what happens and cover those last few minutes. I did not realize that this would be approaching an hour worth of activity. And if it actually carries on at this rate, there's a very good chance that we could miss the Wargaming live stream that I believe is happening this evening. just trying to check to see if that is the case, because in that stream, which has been advertised for the 19th of December, that is when they are going to reveal the prizes for the mailbox, and they are also going to reveal the prizes for the Christmas stockings. Let's just remind ourselves what they look like, so we don't have to spend another 7 minutes looking at the Thunderstorm camo. Storage, let's go. Oh, some boosters there, look at those. In other, so if you've been participating in activity in the game in the last week or so, you will have come across these stream presents: 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And as you can see there, on December the 19th, join the stream on the official YouTube channel to find out what's inside. Now, you don't actually have to join the stream in order to guarantee your prize. They are just going to reveal what is in each of these. And the other thing that they are going to reveal as well, as I struggle to find it, is what the letters are worth that people have received from their mailboxes. There we are, I've got number 26. Now, if you've been paying attention, I made a video a couple of days ago on how you can claim a free mailbox that is in the World of Tanks Blitz premium shop via the Wargaming website. If you haven't seen that video, then take a look at the channel and you will find it, and you will claim a free mailbox, which is where I got number 26 from here. And again, in tonight's stream, they are going to tell me what number 26 will get me. Various different prizes available. There's also a hidden mystery box for free as well. And if you haven't seen the video on that, I encourage you to go and check it out. Because if you are in the store collecting the free mailbox, then you should also be able to find a free mystery container, which has a top prize of, as I try and find it, this particular tank here, the Project, what is it, 07PE, and oh, you've got 26 as well, Steve B. Let's hope we get something good. Oh, and the mailbox wasn't there. Maybe time has run out then. Maybe it was removed. I'm sorry about that. But maybe the mystery box is still there. But needless to say, the prize, the main prize in that mystery box number 1 is this tank here. And if you do happen to get this tank, again, watch a couple of the videos I've made on this, because this thing really likes to get set on fire a lot, so much so that you can see the only tank on the planet where I run double fire extinguisher, because it goes up like it's New Year's Eve. There we go. Let's go back to the auction, because we've still got a whopping 8.5 minutes remaining, and we're up 20 million credits. So that doesn't seem to have moved. The top, or the competitive bid, doesn't seem to have moved, which would suggest there's bids happening at the lower end of that 5,000. And again, what I don't know is if the players in that 5,000 who are going to currently claim a prize, whether they all have to bid the same, or whether they are all paying different prices. And let's say, for example, person at number 1 may have bid something ridiculous like 50 million credits to guarantee it, and the person at 5,000 may have bid 20,250,000. So there could be a massive difference. Who knows? I'm really waiting to see if, when this auction finishes, they publish a list, not necessarily the players' names, because that would be a little unfair. They'd be potentially open to some ridicule for paying such a whopping amount for a camo, which, as Cougar says, and I mentioned earlier on, makes absolutely no difference to the capability of the tank. the percentage of concealment for having a camo does not change irrespective of what camo you have. Of course, having no camo at all, it would make a difference if you fit a camo to the tank, but it doesn't matter what type of camo you fit. The percentage increase in concealment, as Cougar is saying there, is exactly the same. It is a pretty absurd price, but unfortunately, with rising price auctions, the price or the value of the item is what people are willing to pay for it. Because the other thing as well is people are potentially paying 20 million plus credits here for a camo, but if you're a player who plays the game and you have camos disabled in your graphics settings, you're never going to see this anyway, because every tank that spawns into the battle is just going to look grey. So at least they visually will be pleasing their own eyes by having this particular camo, and I expect that the chat in-game after this will be, oh, Thunderstorm camo, how much did you pay for that? Well, I can tell you it's going to be over 20 million credits. Storage generally is full of useless garbage. I have played this game for over 10 years, and I genuinely do not have much of a clue about what some of this stuff is. What are these? Oh yes, the old tank destroyer coins, where you can collect some of those. Excuse me. I got 7 parts of 8 factions there, something like that. But the ones of note for the next day or so are these Christmas stockings down here, and this number 26. Now, you're probably aware as well, because you're dialing into the game, that there is also an event on here to win 26 battles. I have got 22 hours remaining, so this auction needs to end, because I've still got, well, how many is that? 15. Yeah, 15 battles to win to claim another mailbox, which will give me another number. And of course, the stream is tonight, so we'll know what the prize is for that particular number once I've won it. And I'm pleased to say that, having signposted people to the free mailbox that was in the World of Tanks Blitz Premium Shop, somebody did comment on the channel that they had won lucky letter number 1. And I don't know whether they were winding me up or not, but if they have done that on the back of one of my videos, I am absolutely delighted for them. I'll just quickly let you know we're back in the 9-minute region, and we still haven't exceeded 20,250,000 credits. So these bids that are changing this timing at the top are certainly within, or seemingly at the lower end of what the competitive bids are needed. But we are very close to eclipsing 48,000 participants. And Steve, you have finished. You got 20 battles. Okay, hopefully you will get chance to go and play that. Not encouraging you to leave the stream in any way, shape or form, but grabbing that mailbox is more important, I would suggest, than watching another minimum of 9 minutes of people competing. It's like a knife fight in a phone box right now to get the Thunderstorm camouflage. And there we go, it ripples along the gun barrel there. That must be what you're paying your money for. Now it's doing that as part of the graphical effect here. I don't know if it does that every time you get a kill in the battle, and it does that deliberately. I know some of the tanks, I think the STRV-K, for example, does that shoot off flares every time you get a kill? I think it's that one. What is it that this camo does that is so miraculous that makes it worth over 20 million credits? Because again, being a traditionalist in terms of camos, I personally don't quite see what it is. There's a rifled barrel there in the AMX. I wonder how accurate that is. If you know anything about tanks, you'll know that most tanks have a smooth bore barrel. There are a few on the market that have a rifle barrel, which does alter the natures or the type of ammunition that you can fire. But that is about the limit of my technical expertise on that particular subject. As we go back into the storage to see how much more garbage is in here. I've got a lot of certificates as well. And I've actually got here 2 certificates for the T26E3 Eagle 7, a tank I already have, but I can't do anything with these certificates. Can't give them to anybody, can't gift them. The T34 shielded and the STG. Oh, hang on. Oh, LT432 certificate sat there doing nothing. As with the Steve, that's the baby Steve, the tier 6 one, I think. And the Poodle, which was a giveaway tank. And then the 585008. And this actually is probably one of the biggest prizes you can have in your storage in the current game, and that is certificates for 350,000 free XP. Because free XP is becoming a lot more useful and valuable than gold, because they have dramatically reduced what it is you can spend gold on. As you can see, you can either buy gold for cash, or you can use gold pretty much just to buy tanks. Back in the day, you'd be able to use gold to buy premium time, but since they've removed that as an option, it is pretty much useless. You could spend 600 gold here on a container, but let's face it. In fact, you know what? Let's have a go. Let's see what we get here for our 600 gold. Is it worth it? No! I got some boosters. Absolutely rubbish. So yeah, gold has lost its value. You can buy camos for gold. Now that's going to be interesting. I wonder what the exchange rate is on gold to credits. But back to camos, the heavy scoop camo. I mean, this thing's absolutely horrific. Not my cup of tea at all. And actually, one of my favourite tanks in the game, let me see if I can find it. They got it in here. They did have, is the RU251. And they brought out the most horrific breakneck camo for that tank, which was absolutely awful. There's the RU251. Great tank. Big fan of it. As you can see, just got a traditional camo that looks like it might hide a tank in the bushes. Let me see if this puke camo is still here. It is. What's this thing? Look at that. It's absolutely revolting. Absolutely hideous. Speaking of camos, let's get back to the auction, where I think I've just spoken for another 10 minutes about something completely different, and we still have 9 minutes remaining in the auction. Again, we haven't gone above the 20.25 million credits, so all of the action is happening in and around that particular value. Nobody is prepared to go above that. And that's a good point, Steve. There are plenty of camos in the game already. I've absolutely got more camos than I know what to do with. And of course, yeah, you've got winter, summer, and desert. So, I mean, best case, you need 3 camos per tank. I know some of them can go multiple terrains, but you don't need 200 camos. And you definitely don't need one that makes the Jagdpanzer E100 look like a bloody ice cream parlor. Nor do you need one that makes the RU251 look like a 1980s discotheque. Or something that Marty McFly might try and drive back into the future. As I mentioned earlier on, I do wonder how it is and who it is that comes up with the design of these camos. I mean, if you were going to do a comparison of this Thunderstorm camo to the Jagdpanzer E100 Ice Cream Scoop and the RU251, this one here doesn't actually look that bad in comparison to those two. But someone has to sit there in a creative department and say, right, give me your best ideas for a camo for the RU251. And of all of the options that came back, I'm pretty sure there must have been quite a few of them, somebody who is probably getting paid a significant amount of money decided that of all of the ideas, this one was the best. Or maybe it's a case of whoever put this idea forward, lots of their ideas had been rejected before, and they decided, oh, do you know what? Maybe we'll just give them a bit of a morale boost. We'll pick theirs this time. And then they came in with this, and they were like, wow, that's really good. Yeah, let's go with that. Obviously, I have it. I don't know how I have it. I certainly didn't buy it. And clearly, I just used this the green one. And as we've been discussing, you get 3% concealment from this absolutely disgusting camo. And guess what? You get 3% concealment to this German Tier 8 light tank from this camo that looks like it might actually be a camo. And we are back. Thunderstorm, still 9 minutes to go. We're an hour and 15 minutes into this little chat here about camos. We've nearly hit 50,000 participants. And we are at 20.5 million credits. Charles, is it the RU251 breakneck camo that you've not seen? Because if it is that one, then I am sorry that I have exposed your eyes to something so horrific and hideous that you may actually never recover from. And I should have warned beforehand that some dark glasses might have been needed to protect the eyes from that particular camo. Indeed, there you are. I am sorry about that, sir. I do apologise. But then, of course, you know, they do come up with some good ones. And, of course, this is all subjective. I've got this one on the mouse. It's not really my ideal cup of tea. I don't know why I've put that on, actually, because it looks pretty disgusting. But if we look at this one here, the E100, the Jotun, I believe it is. That is indeed a pretty nice camo. Now, I wouldn't pay 20 million credits for it. But it certainly is pretty good. MG42 machine gun, I believe that is on the top there. The standard general purpose type machine gun for the German army. There it is, with a drum barrel. This one's not too bad. Some historical references on there, I'm sure. The Löwe, I've not played the Löwe, it's sat in my garage doing nothing. There was some controversy, I think, when they brought this camo out the first time, because it had an emblem on it that resembled a genuine German army unit who, let's just say, had questionable historical references. So I do think they changed that one. And actually, they do quite well here in the German heavy tanks in making them look authentic. And I do like those ones. And of course, if we go to German tank destroyer, the actual camo you should be running for the Jagdpanzer E100, I believe this is the mächtige bear, the mighty bear. And there he is, look. You could imagine this thing hiding in the woods, and that actually being painted on the side of it. And they've got this particular tank at the Tank Museum in Bovington. Absolutely massive. If you haven't had a chance to go and see it, then you should do. And I think it's this one, is the Jag Tiger. They've definitely got the Jag Tiger, which would be, is that tier 9 now? Yeah, there it is. They've got this one definitely. If you haven't had a chance to go to Tank Fest at the Tank Museum, then it is recommended. And we still have 8 minutes to go. 50,500 participants in the auction, and we're still hovering around 20.5 million. Now that has indeed slowed down considerably. People are obviously getting fatigue here, auction fatigue. Now this is of course the first item in the auction this year. We're expecting a tank tomorrow. We don't know what the golden tickets are going to be. And of course, in the previous auction, they would release tanks in lots of 4 or 5 tanks, in batches, I should say. If they're planning to release 1 tank a day, I don't know for how many days they're going to do that, but this could be getting very tiresome very quickly if it isn't already doing so. And the other thing I mentioned earlier on about how you're going to have to go and buy gold from the store, bid for a tank, you don't know how much it's going to cost, and then if you lose out on that tank, you're then stuck with this gold that you don't necessarily need. That is going to be a factor in the auction. But the other thing as well that I've not seen is, are they going to produce a list of the tanks and what days they are going to be released on? Or are you going to have to log into the game every single day, check the 20-hour preview, identify it's a tank that you want, and then bid for it? And what if there are 2 or 3 tanks, maybe 4 tanks that you're interested in? Do you bid for that one, the first one when it becomes available? Or are you going to wait and see if the other one that you're interested in becomes available? Because let's just say that you can only afford one of the tanks. I think it would be really handy if there is a list out there. I know sometimes these things get leaked, so I'm going to keep my eyes on the forums to see if a list does become available. Although again, lists have been leaked in the past and then the list has been changed as a result of the leak. So it would be very handy. Wargaming, if you're watching this stream, all 1 hour and 20 minutes of it, while you count the coffers being raised here for the Thunderstorm camo, then I would highly recommend that you produce a list of the tanks on what day they are going to be available on, so your loyal player base here can identify the tanks they would actually like to bid for and program that into, firstly, their budget, most important thing, and in fact probably more important, their time, because this is both time consuming, financially expensive, and time expensive as well. As we approach 7.5 minutes remaining, and I've probably said that 7 or 8 times in the last hour and 20 minutes, as we hover around 20.5 million credits for the camo, and 51,000 people are participating. So although there's been an increase of, again, I'm just guessing, I'll watch this back later and realise I got the numbers completely wrong, but I'm guessing about 15,000 participants have joined since I joined over an hour and a half ago. But the bidding has slowed significantly, and we may well, for only the third time I think, drop below the 6 minutes remaining, and potentially get to the end of this auction. We did go below 5 minutes at one point, then a bid came in and took us back to 10. It didn't just reset to 5. Again, if Wargaming are watching, you probably need to condense this continuous extension to the final 10 minutes, and maybe as a recommendation, once it drops below 5, if another bid comes in, then you just extend it to 5, because we may well be in a position here, and I don't know yet because we haven't got there, that if this gets down to 30 seconds and a bid comes in, imagine if that takes us all the way back to 10 minutes. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. The bidding increments are 250,000 credits as we go back to 10 minutes. And we are one competitive bid away for 21 million credits for the Thunderstorm camo. Now we will have a mix of players out there in the player base. As you can see, I've played for quite a while, so I'm comfortably sat with 265 million credits. So I could bid for this camo and it not really make much difference. But there is always a lot of talk about credits and earning credits and how to earn more credits, because it is one of the main features of the game in terms of paying for your consumables and your provisions, which make your tank better. And actually, you're better off running these 20 million credits worth of these consumables than you are running that camo at 20 million credits, because these are going to do you a lot more value, especially when you can pick up one of these. And I've got the green camo again. They're obviously a fan of this strong-willed camo. You can pick up any of these standard camos, which would still give this TD 4% concealment for virtually nothing, or indeed nothing at all. And of course, credits is how you pay for your premium ammunition. If you're not aware, when you first select premium ammunition, it comes up here with a gold value, 11 gold. That's why it's called gold ammo. You're firing gold. Yes, but if you click here, then it changes it to credits. And the Jagdtiger here, a gold round is 4,400 credits, and you are better off carrying 20 million credits worth of gold ammunition than you are paying for a camo at that particular value. So credits is always a hot topic of conversation, especially amongst newer players. How can they earn more credits? And of course that requires winning more, and it also requires performing better in battle. And we are just in a new bid come in there, but we didn't, I don't think the clock changed. We hovered around 6-7 minutes, so maybe it would approaching the end perhaps. think we are committed, certainly I am anyway, to seeing this through to the end. Appreciate you sticking with me and watching in absolute, I don't know, is it admiration for the 52,000 participants here? Is it absolute shock? But whatever it is, we've gone back up to 9 minutes and people are willing to pay nearly 21 million credits for this camo, the Thunderstorm camo, for the AMX. Yes, premium ammo is not, literally it's not, certainly not the golden bullet, not the silver bullet. Does have its issues, but if you change it to credits, then it doesn't feel as bad when it doesn't penetrate, bounces off, and doesn't do what you want it to do. Are we going to hit 21 million credits? Unfortunately, I think we will, and I say that because it will reset the clock back to 10 minutes. Now, I don't know if you've found the stream here because you are subscribed and it popped up, or whether you were just scrolling and thought, let's take a look at lot 1 of the auction. But either way, thank you very much for being here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then please take a look. And if you like what you see, then please subscribe. We have a whopping, I'm just going to check the number actually. Let me have a look. 373 subscribers to BennyBot 1000 World of Tanks Blitz. And that is pretty good. I just play the game for fun and make videos just to inform players with what's going on. I am not aligned to Wargaming. I don't have a contributors account or a press account or any inside access. Pretty much just a player like those of you who are watching and those of you who are subscribed. And I take whatever it is that Wargaming throw at us, the same as you do. But every now and then I will make videos that give my opinions and comments on what is good and what is bad about it. Charles, you are a subscriber or you are a contributor to the World of Tanks Blitz Wargaming community? 21 million credits. There's somebody out there contributing to the Wargaming World of Tanks Blitz community by bidding an absurd, I want to say absurd amount in my opinion, for a camo for this tank. And it's not so much the amount that's absurd, because again, in an auction, an item is worth whatever anybody is willing to pay for it. What is absurd is the continuation of the 2-hour bidding window by 10 minutes every time somebody disrupts the 5,000 prize slots that are available. And to give you an idea of the impact, the last 10 minutes has been going for at least an hour and a half while I've been sat here talking to you about it, plus an extra maybe 10 or 15 minutes when I dialed into the game out of interest to see whether or not the players were going to do what a lot of people said that they should do in the various forums, and that is boycott the auction, don't give Wargaming your money, or as some of us suspected, the players would indeed go all out and commit to this new process. Charles is a sub. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Hope you are enjoying the content. And in fact, I do recognise that you do comment quite regularly, so thank you for that. As we watch 53,000 participants now. Look at the thunderstorm camouflage, currently valued at 21 million credits. So its value has increased 21 times since the starting bid. Rate of inflation there is almost in line with the Freddo chocolate bar. For those of you in the UK, you will know what I'm talking about. But the small frog-shaped chocolate bar in the UK, very commonly used by people to determine how expensive things are these days, because the price of that little fella has gone up quite a bit, but not as much as the camo, as another 250,000 credits is added on to the value. Now, what's interesting here, of course, is there are 53,000 people participating here in the auction. That means they're logged into the game, but they're not actually playing battles. I would assume anyway, unless they're having a quick look, going and playing a battle and coming back in again. But if you're currently sat in the game on the EU server trying to get into a battle, it might be a bit of a struggle, because most of the players are just watching this auction. And again, I suspect that most people have clicked on this screen. They have then wandered off to do multiple other things, and then are coming back to see where it's at. Because what I do worry is those players who are extremely interested in getting this camo, like with any auction scenario, are probably waiting for the final minute, 30 seconds to throw a bid in. And if they do that, does that take us back to 10 minutes? We will have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. There's nearly 54,000 participants now. Now it's approaching 5:45 in the United Kingdom, so I can imagine that households across the country, those kids who came home from school about an hour to an hour and a half ago perhaps, if indeed today was their last day before the holidays and they didn't finish yesterday, they really want to bid for this camo, but their parents now screaming up the stairs for them to get downstairs to the table for their evening meal. So the auction in its guise here is causing domestic strife across households in the United Kingdom, as evening meals are being dished up to dining tables that have no children sat around them, all because they want the thunderstorm camo more than they want their chicken nuggets and chips. There it goes again, the animation. That's your 21 million credits worth there. Okay, we've got 8 minutes to go. 8.5 minutes. We're at 21,250,000 credits and 54,000 participants. So let's do something to fill the time. Let's see what we come back to. Let's take this German medium tank into a game. See how we get on. My keyboard has been playing up today, so we could end up getting absolutely annihilated early doors. But let's find out. Let's go with speed boost here. It's particularly slow, this German medium tank. We've got no one moving. They've all spawned in, but they're sat watching the camo auction. There goes dodgy button. Throw one down there, see what happens. Nothing. No light bulb to indicate we've been spotted. Nothing again. Okay, people are starting to move now. People will say this is a TD spot, why are you there? But actually, there's no point me pushing any further because the rest of my team aren't here. And that was standard ammo bounce. Good at all. And then that one goes in. And we still haven't spotted anybody else on their team apart from this medium. And here they come. Pump adrenaline. A good turret on this tank. If you hit adrenaline before you fire, it does give you an increased chance of penetration, I believe. I have to check that, but it certainly has its advantages. We have lost it there already. That's a nice shot. Oh, hello, what's back there? Oh, the Annihilator. A couple of nice shots. We've missed an absolute sitter. That Annihilator is still there. We'll use the turret armor on this again. We are on our own back here, so we need to be careful. 2 each, but we are exposed. I'm going to drop back here. Try and use this rock. Draw them towards this heavy tank if I can. We are going to die very soon. There we are, we're out, but it's 3-all. There was 4 of them. We try to hold that corner. I don't know what the Bazonte is doing. Let's have a look what he's up to. Nothing. AFK, is he? No, he's reloading. He has fired. Annihilator captured the base. We've got 3 bases, 700 points now. So, hopefully, this one is in the bag, but you never know. You can afford to see out the whole of this game and not risk missing the final bid for the camo in the Thunderstorm auction. We did our job, we held up the corner. 4 tanks all engaging myself meant that they weren't engaging the rest of the team, so they were able to do the business, capture the bases. And my broken W key did not perform particularly well, so we absolutely won't be trying that again. 1500 damage blocked, only 1400 damage done, class 3. And I earned 118,000 credits, so if I was indeed interested in the Thunderstorm camo, that would give me a little bit extra to contribute towards it. And then we've played a game, and we are still at 9 minutes. Nearly 55,000 participants, and 21.25 million credits is still the competitive bid. And we are about 1 hour and 40 minutes in to the final 10 minutes of the stream. or of the auction, I should say. Not sure how much longer we can continue to watch the final 10 minutes here. Does seem to be a failure of the system. I don't know what it is the Wargaming thought might happen. They obviously have these conversations around the table when they come up with these ideas. And when somebody said, yeah, if somebody makes a bid in the last 10 minutes, let's reset the 10 minutes. Did nobody think, well, then what if somebody else makes a bid? I will reset the 10 minutes. But then what if somebody else makes a bid? Yeah, we'll reset the 10 minutes. And maybe they didn't think this through all the way to the end. Or maybe they did. But we're not really ramping up the value as quickly as we were an hour and 20 minutes ago. 21.5 million credits. 5,000 Thunderstorm camos available. And there are 55,000 people participating in the in-game auction. We just need this to come to an end now, Wargaming. Come on. Pull the pin, pull the plug. Again, staring down the barrel. That's exactly what we're doing here. We get the point. This camo is available in an auction. And you are prepared to run this until there is literally no one left. Last person standing here. That's right, Charles. It is lot 1 of day 1. I don't know how many days the actual auctions are going to run for. And you could imagine if this was, say, the T-22 medium, the Smasher, the Annihilator, the Dracula, how frantic the bidding would be for those particular tanks, which in the last few years, when they've been released in the drop price auction for ridiculous money, 15,000 gold or 20,000 gold, the number of tanks in the lot have sold out within 30 to 40 seconds. Now we're in the reverse scenario for that, when those tanks, if indeed they are going to become available in the auction, I suspect they will do. We're going to keep going on those tanks, the bidding for those tanks, until we can go 10 minutes without somebody making a bid that disrupts the number of prize winners. Now, I don't know how many tanks are going to be available, but there's 5,000 camos here. So there are 5,000 opportunities for somebody to come in and disrupt the bidding. That is a lot. And we're at the lowest timeline we've been at in the hour and 45 minutes we've been going, and that is 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Just under 22 million credits is the offer. A record number, nearly 56,000 participants. Again, having done this on day 1 for the Thunderstorm camo, we'll be able to see what the appetite is like when a tank is released, and depending on what type of tank it is. We've dropped under 4 minutes. risking the commentator's curse by suggesting that we might hopefully be approaching the end of this. But the danger is that more players are joining and they may be looking to make a bid for the first time, or there's a couple of hardcore bidders in that nearly 56,000 players who really want this. They've just been bumped out of the top 5,000 and they are waiting like the proverbial coiled spring to slap a bid in here that will return that clock potentially back up to 10 minutes. Now, I don't know whether it goes all the way back up to the 10 minutes or whether a bid just adds on a few seconds or a minute or so. The problem is we haven't been able to drop low enough in the last hour and 45 minutes to really understand what one bid does to this timer, other than we have been reset to 10 minutes multiple times, which is why the last 10 minutes is nearly 2 hours long. As we approach 2 minutes remaining, excitement is building here. Auction fatigue. I've just been notified by the messaging here on YouTube that the live stream, the Jingle Shell stream, is just starting, where they're going to announce the prizes for the lucky numbers and the Christmas stockings. So hopefully people are going to switch their attention to that. I'm not really seeing the numbers drop here in terms of the 56,000 people. But there's only 2 minutes remaining, so they want to see it out to the end perhaps. Starting bid of 1 million credits. The competitive bid to be within and amongst the 5,000 prizes available is 21,750,000. 22 million credits. Now that has changed, but we are still 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, so I don't think the timing bar changed there. Maybe there is an end limit here on the bidding window. I really don't know. What I do know is there's about a minute left, and I am hoping beyond hope that that clock does not reset, because that would be absolutely devastating for morale. It's 56,548 participants watching the clock tick down. It's almost as exciting as the New Year clock ticking down. Yeah, another bid's gone in, 22,250, but the clock continues to tick down in the last 30 seconds now. It doesn't look like it resets once it's got below a certain value, or indeed been going for a certain amount of time. 15 seconds now. Are we going to get another bid? 22,250, sorry, 22,250,000 credits is competitive. Doesn't mean that's the top price. 3, 2, 1. The auction for the Thunderstorm Camo is over. I don't see anything happening on the screen that tells us anything other than, there we go, it has ended. 6 PM UTC. I did make a bid just to see what the process was like. Competitive bids. 22,250,000 credits. There is no more information than that. There's a next arrow here. Let's see what that does. Oh, here we go. Great news. Breaking news. Excitement here. The 20-hour preview has revealed the full metal camouflage here. And it is for gold. Camouflage for gold, ladies and gentlemen. Starting bid of 100 gold for the full metal camouflage. And they are the notes here on how to conduct the auction, and we've just seen that for ourselves. So but it's the full metal camouflage. And it's worth noting here that if the vehicle or camouflage from a lot you win is already in your garage, you'll receive compensation, credits or gold for vehicles, but you will get splinters for camouflage. Compensation for this lot, however, is 40,000 credits. So if you want to turn gold into credits, bid for the full metal camouflage if you already own it, and you will be wasting your gold quite easily there. But 20 hours from now, the full metal camouflage will go live in the auction for gold. And there we are, confirmation, the thunderstorm camouflage. 5,000 of those have been won for a competitive price of 22,250,000 credits, and we leave just under 57,000 participants looking at the auction. I have been going for nearly 2 hours on this. It lasted a lot longer than I expected, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will try and do another one of these when I get a chance, but it definitely won't be for the full metal camo tomorrow. I'm not sure I can endure another camo auction, but it's time now to go across to the World of Tanks Blitz official stream to see what prizes we can get for the Christmas stockings and the lucky numbers. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, watch the videos, let me know in the comments what you think, good or bad, and I wish you all a very good day. Thank you and goodbye.